Welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or massages. Come in, come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Just giving it a hot minute for the notification to go out. Oh, everybody's been notified, so we shall proceed. Are you fabulous, gorgeous and lovely, best friend? Are you? Let's dive right in and see what's going on. Goddess Diamond, aloha, big cat wave. Before we get into everything, darling dears, I want to talk about this, right? Because this is so important that you never go back. If you go back to situations that you've already graduated from, darling dears, the cycle's going to keep repeating. And what they're going to do, they're going to drain you again, blood. They're not going to care about your hairline. They're not going to care about your edges. They're not. They will give you a quick reverse friar tuck. Your energy deserves better. That environment has already taken enough of your time, money, emotional well-being. You don't owe them another second, a millisecond of your precious energy on this Malkoof. Andrew Hampstead, big cat wave. Yeah, they don't deserve it. They will never change. The same disrespect, the same dismissiveness, the same feeling of being ignored and undervalued. They treat you like, listen, they'll bend over and bust it wide just for you, darling dears. They will. You have so much more to gain by continuing forward. This is how we move as a big cat, darling dears, as the prototype. You move according to faith, darling dears, faith in the unseen. And the grand finale on that? Bestie, oi, you've outgrown them. You no longer vibrate on the same frequency. In the name of the Most High, you do not. You can't go back and reopen a wound and then try to heal it again. Why would you want to heal it again? A victory orb, big cat, wet Slim Jim, fist bump. You've already seen their true colors and they don't deserve another chance to disrespect the big cat who knows what's going on. There I remind you of how we roll. We keep this on hand. This is my day, right? And as I've said to you many times, if somebody has entered your domicile that you wasn't expecting in the dead of night, make sure that the lights stay off. You know where everything is. And if you get yourself a nay, you put a sock on this side. So when you go to swing it, darling dears, they'll try to grab the bat. But the end, right, with the sock will come off. Put it here. And you'll be able to double up and get to what you need to get to when you need to get to it. Protect yourself, darling dears. And if you don't know, right, go and watch my Don't Get Smoked video. I'm wearing a denim jumpsuit and I teach you light kung fu and self-defense. Because we have to go back to the rules again. There's a rule by, what's his name? Lil Donald. Look him up on Spotify, darling dears. The first rule is to love yourself. Put yourself first and know your worth. You are worth more than diamonds and gold. Proverbs 31:10. The second one is, trust no one, blood. Trust nobody. Be cautious with whom you think you can put trust in. Because they will come and what? Be a front tabber. Keep your business private. Don't share your plans, your personal life, or anything of significance with anyone. Tell no one nothing. When I move, I don't tell no one I'm moving. or if I'm flying out or going on. No, blood, you see me on the way back when I finish doing what I needs to do when it needs to be done. Right? Cut off all the toxic people in your life. Remove that negative energy. Fake friends, family members, co-workers, whomsoever it is. And you don't have to cut them off loud, blood. You sit them down in silencio. And most of all, stay focused, man. Keep your goals in sight and don't let distractions take you off your path. Save your money, blood. Save your skrillers. Remember, I told you, be like the richest man in Babylon. Go and watch his video on YouTube, right? Every time you get money coming to your account, darling dears, save 10 or 15%. That money is your rainy day fund, right? Then you pay yourself 15% because you have to see what you're earning. The rest goes towards the bills and your life living. So you have a secret fund and a secret fund. The secret fund, you don't touch that blows line. You don't touch it. Why? It's for rainy day and specific emergencies. Could be a car, whatever it is, darling dears. The secret fund that is kind of wavy, that's the 15% you pay yourself. Always pay yourself. Never just get your bills and start paying it. Pay yourself. Right? And the most important thing, protect your peace. Oh my God, let me tell you something. You know how many people, when they see me on the street, darling dears, they have to see and unsee me, darling dears. There's a Bermuda Triangle around me, right? You have to learn how to be diplomatic with your energy, darling dears. Your peace is most important. You can't manifest if you don't have any peace. And you will not find peace in what I said you mustn't go back to. Go and look up Lil Donald and listen to his 7 rules of life. Because I'm telling you, when I listened to it the first time, I was like, good God, every one of them was broken. Listen. Pay attention, bestie. Let's dive right in and continue with the preliminaries. Now that I've said what I've wanted to say. You're rolling with a 7, darling dears. Energy of the 7 is genius mode. Analyze every situation and circumstance coming towards you, darling dears. We love that. We love it so much. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. The energy of the 7 is about your children. It's about creativity as well as entertaining. Listen, some people were well and truly entertained by you. Remember, I told you that. All right? They were entertained, darling dears. You didn't even come as a thought in their mind. You entertained them to the max, darling dears. With all of the bad luck you was going through, the losses. Yes. They loved it. But when you got rid of the toxic people, you're not feeding that fire, darling dears. They have to live on speculation. And they are they're not false, darling dears, because they are stalkers. Sputnik hasn't forgotten you, darling dears. Energy of the 7, them watching you, you watching them, everybody watching everybody. But the only one that is spiritually guided is the energy of the 7, darling dears. Highly spiritual number. You could be a life path 7, darling dears. Or the number 7, 19, and 25 will be on your hemisphere. And when we see the 2 and the 5, I tell you all of the time, when it comes up, whether on the cards or I tell you about the 2 and the 5, someone in the public arena is going down Bobby Brown in the next 7 days. Pay attention and then hit me up in the comments. The energy of the 7, darling dears, is ruled by the letters G, P, and Y. It rules Neptune. And Neptune rules Pisces. And we know Pisces is the house of what? Nagoso. The unseen, darling dears. The unseen. It's also the house of things that people keep private. Private family matters, darling dears. When they're trying to X you out of a situation. It's also the Pisces is the house of mental health, darling dears. Your mental health, your wealth. If you're crack on crazy, what can you do? You can't do a damn thing. Good morning, Rapinda. Big cat wave. Let me get back on my trolley. Right. The energy of the 7, darling dears, is also representative of the South Node. So it's something to do with your karmic past in this life or a previous life, which is going to be coming upon you. But yet you've been gifted the 7. You have the tools to analyze the situation, darling dears. This is why I tell you at the top of the read, always go within. Every answer comes from within, darling dears. My tummy is a Geiger counter. When I get the butterflies in my tummy, I know something good is coming. And when I think about it, I get butterflies. Or you get that, I get a sinking feeling, darling dears. A sinking feeling. And then I start getting mad. Listen, I will cuss the wall. Listen, let me just bring it back in, darling. Let me just bring it back in. So yeah, the energy of the 7, darling, is your luckiest days will be Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. The lucky numbers associated with the 7 is 4, 5, and 7, as well as 7, 16, and 25, darling dears. The number 7 is ruled by the astrological aspect of a semi-sextile, right? So this karmic thing that's coming up for you, darling, this 12th house energy, okay? It's a past thing that you are going to be able to heal. It's healing and transformation. And we love the transformation, darling dears. It's also a reminder that you must forgive every situation, no matter how harsh it was to you. Why? Otherwise, your energy is still tied to the bottom feeders, darling dears. And we don't want that, do we? Remember your edges. Show your edges some respect, blood. Oi, listen. What else do I need to tell you about the energy of the 7? According to the 48 laws of power, the energy of the 7 is get others to do the work for you, darling dears. Let others build, but position yourself to be like the architect, darling dears. You are the one that gives them the plug and gives them the energy to build whatever it is they need to build, darling dears. And being in that position, you're able to control the outcome. Okay? This is a time for you to what? Energy of the 7, to work smarter, not harder. Okay? All right. What else can I tell you about the energy of the 7? The energy of the 7, darling, is represented by the major tarot is chariot energy, the warrior energy, moon energy. Moon is high priestess energy. It also speaks about going within, as I said. The high priestess sits between Boaz and Jashin for something completing and something new is about to begin. You are on the cusp, darling dears, of something new. All the more reason not to go backwards, ever forwards, in the words of Abraham Lincoln. Let's carry on. Let's listen. These people are dark like 5 past midnight. Remember, I told you that. All right. Anything else before we press on? Before we press on, the energy of the 3, darling dears. According to the dice, it speaks about conflict. People IFing what you've got going on, darling dears. Why? Because people can feel when a major change is coming your way, darling dears. They can feel it in the air. Just like Phil Collins. And we've seen their face before, my friend. Fist bump. Would you lend them a hand? If they was drowning, would you help them? Would you help them, bestie? These questions you need to ask yourself before you consider going back, right? The energy of the 4, darling dear, speaks about a lot of communication according to the dice. So lots of letters, emails, text messages. And for some, the energy of the 4 is someone is about to embark on a love affair. I just had to put it out there. Embark on a love affair in these dark times. Listen, I'm lost for words. If that's what you're going to do, do it. But don't do it during Mercury retrograde. You'll regret it. You'll be back and you'll be straight back in the dark night of the soul. I had to look over my shoulder. Anyhow, right? Let's take it now to the astrology. The energy of the 3 is about communication. Again, gadgets, devices, lots of incoming communication. Somebody is also going to be traveling, darling dear. Short distance, could be a long distance. You're going to have you're going to be traveling on a boat. Maybe you're traveling somewhere and you'll be boating while you're there. If you have asthma, make sure you bring all of the paraphernalia with you, darling dears. Because I'm telling you, you need to breathe, darling dears. It's very important. If you don't breathe and you're dead, dodo dead, and that's too late. The energy of the 3rd house also speaks about your early education. So it's people that's known you from a long time, from before Donkey killed Philope, right? The energy of the 4, darling dears, is the 4th house, a very spiritual house. This is what you do behind closed doors. It speaks about your ancestral team. You are being protected at this moment in time. because you are on the cusp of something, darling dears. And as I've told you many times, you are the prototype of your lineage. What you've done, darling dears, no one else has done. They've always found a way back into the wickedness to cut off every toxic, I'm talking about every toxic person in your life, darling dears. It's a lonely path. But I would rather take the lonely path and be stepping into the unknown that has infinite possibilities than to be where I was. But then again, I'm a pointer, not a picker. You've got free will to do exactly what you want. But if you go back to that place, darling dears, remember, you're going back to the what? Pet cemeteryites, darling dears. Pet cemeteryites. You're right, Slim Jim. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. But I'm telling you, when you become self-sufficient, darling dears, you will be financially free. Why? You're in manifestation mode. Divine can't pour into you when you're around the wickedness. Just imagine if you'd have got them blessings when you was around them. It'd have been wasted on people that did not even deserve a nanosecond of your time. The energy of the third house is a lot of gossip they're talking about. They won't leave you alone, darling dears. They won't. They're on you like white on rice. Let's see. First card to turn over is your ancestor. Did I not tell you? You are being protected at this moment in time. You must always give thanks to your ancestors, darling. Where's your altar? Do you not leave them some food, a little bit of water? Put your most precious things on there, right? Why? Because the Wheel of Fortune is on your side. This is moving forward, darling. There's fate, destiny, and good luck. The Wheel of Fortune is also Sagittarius energy, and that's Jupiter, darling. There's the 9th house. What's that? The house of God, the house of higher courts, darling. There's some of you have some kind of court case, possibly even compensation. Things are about to go in your favor. Why? This came out in the upright. The 9th house is the house of your philosophical ideas, expansion, and again, travels, darling dears. I said you'll be traveling in the 3rd house, and the 9th house has now come out to let you know you'll be traveling far and wide. Something that you're about to publish, darling dears. And remember, 9th house, you was a prophet in that situation, darling dears, and you will never be recognized in that village. You also have what? The 7th house star. I can't make this up, darling dears. Good golly. And the gosh, 2 7s on the tableau is divine is telling you that it's time for you to be more light-hearted, darling dears. Ease up on yourself. Ease up on yourself. You've been very strict about certain things in your life. I'm not saying to be so easy that you're out there giving away pussy or panani. No, I didn't say that. I didn't. That's too easy. That's too free. No, I never said that, right? And if anybody said that, they're a liar. I didn't say that. You're not just giving away things. Do you understand? But Divine wants you to be easy on yourself. Energy of the 7, you've got the warrior spirit. You've got it twice now on the tableau, darling dears. You're the baddest of them all. Being able to walk alone and become self-sufficient, darling dears. Jacqueline, you laughing at giving out the pussy and the punani. Listen, I had to say it. Listen, I didn't have the time to rephrase it, and I had to get to the core. Listen, that really is. Oi, listen, oi. You are the warrior spirit, darling dears. And what did I say? The big cat, darling dears. Rise up the big cat. As your big cat chronicles continues, you've got to learn to use discernment, darling dears. Share Bear, I see you. Tony Smith, Wagwan, big cat, wave. Yeah, look. Whatever risk and they gamble, darling dears. They're sorry. They are fucking sorry, blood. That's how you say it in Scotland. Fucking. Somebody's sorry, right? They're sorry because they're in the court, darling dears. In Keitha, right? Nothing like being on the spiritual docket, darling dears, right? We have the energy of the 11 on top, darling dears. The energy of the 11 is Aquarius energy, the 11th house. Your friendship groups, darling dears. You had to release a lot of friendship groups. people that you thought would always be there. The 11th house is also your older siblings. The 3rd house is your younger siblings, extended family member. They're paying attention. Don't think for 1 minute that they've forgotten you, darling dears. I just had to hold that for a minute. Don't think they've forgotten, darling. They haven't forgotten you. Right? Energy of the 6. You may have a health issue coming up at this moment in time. We've got the 6 is touching the 3. That's the 3rd house. That's Mercury energy. Mercury, it could be something to do with your arms, your hands, your lungs, your nerves, your shoulders. Maybe you need to get it checked up, darling dears. Go for a checkup so you can make an informed decision. The 6th house is about things you do on a daily basis, darling dears. Okay, to make your life thrive. It's also about volunteering. You may be a volunteer, up to volunteering at this moment in time. Somebody's about to take on more clients. Good for you, darling dears. And don't tell no one. Don't tell anyone, right? Somebody's also going to be taking up further training, okay? Something to do with pills. Somebody's taking pills at this moment. Listen, if you've got to take them, right? My advice, I always look for an alternative. I have this. I have this. And I have this. Every one of these is what you need, right? Because I could go back and start talking. I'm not going to talk about myself today, right? We're not talking about me, but what I'm saying, I've given you the books, darling, is get them, read them, and find an alternative. Because sometimes when you have to take the pills, you end up getting something else wrong, and then it all falls apart, darling dears. But for others, they take them and they're fine. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's carry on, darling dears. So they're talking about you. Let's get one more card before we press on at a hot trot. They always, listen, you are God's masterpiece. Ephesians 2:10. Never forget that shit. Never. Right? Oh. Envy, jealousy, and hate, darling dears. Somebody's self-medicating out in there, darling dears. They're self-medicating out in there. Imagine that. But they don't go too far, do they? They manage to hang on and come back another day. They're self-medicating over what you got going on. It could be the drugs, the alcohol, it could be the sex, it could be lying, possibly lying, darling dears. They're liars, right? Skin-peeling liars, right? You are too blessed to be stressed, darling dears. Blessed in their face. Dharma, right? For clearing what the pathway for your ancestors, darling dears. Karma, remember I told you that. North Node styly, darling dears. You are being protected, right? A friend cannot be trusted. Tell them at the back. Warn them. Some people are just your friends, right? Number one, to see your downfall. And number one, they're trying to take over what you got going on, darling dears. They have to be up close to see what it is that you're giving them. This certain je ne sais quoi. But they can't replicate something that's in you, not on you, right? And they're time traveling ear hustlers. Listen, this ain't Star Trek, and we're not allowing Klingons. Not at this stage of the game, when it's very serious. To the decks. Judgment knows their address, darling dear. Somebody definitely would like to come back through for one more round, Julie, with your hairline. Are you prepared for it? Good golly. And the gosh, when we see the Judgment card, darling dears, this is Pluto fire energy, darling dears. And Pluto is a generational planet. As we know, Pluto has just gone into Aquarius, and it's going to be there for the next 19 years. Okay? I was going to say something else, but I said I'm not talking about me today. I'll talk about me tomorrow. But nothing that I haven't done already. Tried to catch me out again, didn't ya? Okay. Yeah. They're gossiping and talking. It's a friend can't be trusted. You are too blessed to be stressed. And you've got the 777, darling dears. You also got the Death card. Something is coming towards you. The Death card is Scorpio energy, the 8th house, darling dears. The death and the rebirth and rise of you. The energy of the eighth house. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. The eighth house is about joint finances. It could be money that's being paid to you in the form of compensation, assets, child maintenance, alimony, right? It could be from a business deal, darling dears. And the reason why you've got the death card is because you let go of a situation, something that you felt was a foundation or possibly even an asset in your life, something that you didn't need, darling dears. The energy of the eighth house is also the house of karma. There's a lot of karma associated with this. You got the 8 straight after the 7, darling dears. That alone speaks for itself. You are blessed and favored at this moment in time. But it's about the rebirth of you. I told you, you are on the cusp. Some money's coming towards you, darling dears. They're worried about that. Look. Wishing all badness on you, darling dears. 3 of Cups in the reverse. Hey! Somebody's also gone into a new situation, darling dears. If they had you in a throuple, darling dears, wherever they are, it's not working for them, darling dears. There's no love in that situation. There's no support. They have to keep bringing money to a situation, and it's a physical, mental, emotional, and financial drain. That's their business. We don't care. Do we care? We care nothing. Did they care about you, darling dears? I told you, it's rich white lady season. We ain't trusting no one for free, darling dears. Strength card. Somebody wants to catch you at a downtime, darling dears. And listen, when you see the strength card in reverse, this person wants to argue. They want to fight. They want to bring up all shiznai from the past, darling dears. It could also be a new person coming towards your life. I told you, be careful of the friends you invite into your inner circle, darling dears. And I'm telling you, it can happen to the best of us. Your third eye's open and someone still slips under the radar. This is why you are being called at this time through your rebirth, darling dears, that you pay attention. You're on a horse. You're getting a better view of what's going on around you. They want to catch you when you're weak, do they? They won't catch me when I'm weak. Listen, I'll be punching, kicking, and scratching all day. Catch me when I'm weak. That means I'm fighting to the death, right? Punching, kicking, and scratching, blood. Punching, kicking, and scratching. Listen. Yeah. Because you're building a new level of stability, darling dears. We've also got the Ace of Wands. This goes to the 5 of Wands. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. The energy of the 5 of Wands is conflict and tension, darling dears. Somebody's upset by some kind of foundation you've built for yourself. It could be a new home. You may have moved home. You could be going towards a wedding because we have the energy of the 4. Maybe the wedding, the romance is turning into a wedding, darling dears. It could be you celebrating a new home, a new business, a new job, whatever it is, darling dears. Yeah, the Ace of Wands, this person still cares about the situation. They're still well and truly involved. They're captivated. For others, if you are going into a situation that is leading to marriage, get married on the 28th. Look at your numerology. The 28th is the number of money, darling dears. Bill Gates, all of them, their birthday is the 28th. What's the one's name? What's his name? Bezos. He married a lady that's a number 28. If you're going to get married on the 28th. Over. Do you want to know more things like this? Hit me up in the Gmail, darling dears. We can be friends. Yeah, because you're definitely making the right choices, darling dears. And you're very clear on the choices that you're making for yourself going forwards. Gemini energy is also, again, as I said, it's making right choices and it's a new contact. Somebody's definitely going into some kind of marriage or some kind of union. Both my ears have started burning. Listen, someone's chatting me and someone's trying to defend me. Allow me. Let me just pinch off my 2 ears. What? How dare they? They're bright and they're brazen. Tell me something more about the death card. Because you got the badass alchemist ways, as above, so below. Did I not just tell you that you are being protected? Again, Mercury energy is about traveling, darling. There's a lot of travel, a lot of communication coming towards you, as well as a lot of communication you're going to put out there. Remember, I told you that. You're the baddest of them all. And they're curious. They're worried. They, them, and I'm, darling dears. New and old people. It's not just old people that are trying to come back. come back in a different meat suit, but with a different level of wickedness. Who's that? Who's going to allow that? I told you I will be pitching, punching, kicking and scratching all day. I said pitching, punching, kicking and scratching all day, because it will be a fight to the death. Tell me something more about the curious onlookers. They want that judgment. Judgment has found their address in thigh-high red leather boots, eh? And somebody wants to come back, or somebody wants to come through. Very curious about you, darling dears. This person has a lot of self-doubt. They've got a lot of inner critique. King of Cups. This is you mastering your emotions, darling dears. But the King of Cups doesn't get off their throne, whether you are male or female, to argue with someone in the past or someone in the future who does not belong in your life. The King of Cups has discernment. And again, it's a reminder. Be careful whom you allow into your inner sanctum. They're not coming to take down a page, right? They're not coming to take down a knight. They're coming for the king or queen. Yeah, definitely traveling, darling dears. You're no longer taking a temporary short stick, that temporary stick that's just stuck to the wall. No, you're making solid moves, darling dears. Moving forward, you're making new assessments as you go forward. Definitely travel, darling dears. Leave the unhappy people where they are. Leave all of the things that was in the past. Don't bring them back. You've got the rebirth again. The cards are coming out the same way. Yeah. Look. Whatever decision you've made, darling dears, stand firm in that. Stand strong. Because the money's coming. If you've got a health issue, I told you, the Mercury energy could be with your arms, your hands, your lungs, your nerves, and your shoulders, darling dears. This is a return to health. Okay? Underneath the Ace of Swords, you may even have a surgery coming up. Everything's going to turn out just fine. But this is about you continuing to be diligent. Pay attention to what you've got going on. Don't allow the distractions to take you off your gangster. Divine has gifted you with a 7 Taras. A 7? Hey, hey! Oh yeah, and again, somebody's going down Bobby Brown. Over the next 7 days. We're all going to see it. Tell me something about this envious person. This is how you'll be, darling. They're coming to stab you in your back, blood. This is how you're going to be. Defeated, darling. Just having to go back into the DNS. They want you to lose whatever you've got, darling. They don't want you to have it. Tell me something more about this envious person. Energy of the 10 is completion, darling dears. End of a cycle. They've got nothing going on in their life, darling dears. They can't even think for themselves unless it's your business. Tell me something more. One more card on this envious person. Let's make all the cards go back to... 2 of them jumped. Look. Emotionally unstable. Come through, Uncle Roger. Posh, clap. They're emotionally unstable, darling dears. They've got no long-term vision. They've got nothing going for them, darling dears. Extremely unhappy. I told you, deeply critical of themselves, possibly overindulgent. This person is into drugs. They're into everything, darling dears. They're into everything. Everything that's not good. Sun energy in the reverse. All of the cards are all mixed it around, and I didn't do it. It did itself. Look, I was trying to turn a card. Look. 9 of Wands. You don't want to go back to the wounded healer again, darling dears. You've overcome possibly as many as 8 or 9 people. Some of you are involved in a battle with 8 or 9, maybe even 10 people, because we've got the 10 here. But victory is yours. We just saw the Knight of Pentacles. He doesn't come out for a laugh. Let me get another deck. I feel like we need to ask about this friend that can't. What? They can't be trusted. The friend that can't be trusted. The friend that can't be trusted. Queen of Wands, shady but baby, darling dears. Listen, The only truth you're going to get is the clarity you bring to the situation. Queen of Wands in this situation was asking if this person is shady. Yeah, they're shady, they're a gossip. This is the type of person that will sleep with your partner. Wait. You're the one that has to apply the clarity to the situation because they want everything you got. Knight of Pentacles on his forehead. Sorry, the page. The page. They want everything. They want your life. Everything you've got going on, darling dears. They want it all to fail. Be very careful whom you invite in at this stage of the game. You are at breakthrough. Right? High Priestess. This is a gossip. This is someone that will sleep with your partner, darling dears. This is also a spellcaster. Next to the Queen of Wands. So they want to cast spells, do they? Number one, they want you to be unprotected, darling dears, not knowing that you've already got the spiritual protection from your ancestral team, right? They want you to be vulnerable, darling dears. Right? Snake energy. Next to them, yeah, so that you don't have no rebirth, darling dears. That everything fails, a turnaround in your health. They want everything to fail in your life, darling dears. This friend that can't be trusted. Right, let's get another deck. What about the too blessed to be stressed? Final cards, and then we're out of here to get great. Okay. First card, Nine of Pentacles on its forehead, darling dears. Right? It doesn't matter what you lost in the past, darling dears. This is a lot of losses. Mental health, physical health, financial health. It doesn't matter what you lost. Divine is coming through with new opportunities for you. They're going to come with their confusion, darling dears. But these are people that always had you in competition, darling dears. They're going to come. They're going to try and argue. They may even try and argue to stay in your life. You can argue to stay in my life when we already said you've got to go. Why? Because they're under judgment. 3 times we've seen this come up, darling dears. You saw it with your eye chakras and so did I. All right. Let's get a final deck. And then we're out of here to get great. I'm going to use the African Goddess Rising. Haven't used that in a while. Final message for the big cats. As we step into this new version of ourselves, this newness that is going on for you, darling dears. Why? Because your latter days, darling dears. Job 8-7, your latter days. And while you're up there with Job 8-7, remember Proverbs 26:11. Only a fool returns to folly, the way a dog returns to vomit. We are big cat. We don't eat vomit. Right? Because you should feel safe because you are being covered by your ancestral team at this moment in time. Because you're about to get, darling dears. This is giving and receiving. What you put out there is what you're about to receive back. And whatever they're trying to bring to the situation, this looks like a portal, an archway. They're going to try and come with it, darling dears. I told you there's a very jealous person that doesn't want you to have anything less than, darling dears. They're going to try and shame you into staying. You can't shame me to stay in this. Shame me to stay in a situation. So we've got 19, 10, and a 4. Base of the deck, darling dears. Because this is what Divine is about to give you. Your joy. It's on a 16. That's the Tower moment, darling dears. You had to be broken down to be rebuilt as the prototype. And you deserve every accolade, every achievement that you have coming towards you. And not only that, we've already written our list. We asked the universe that we don't want to be the strongest soldier going forward. We've done it for so many years. 2025 is the breakthrough. And yet, here it is. This is the time for your joy. Let's get one more card and then we're out of here. I'm going to go with the Situation Love deck. On the base, wedding bells. I told you some romance is going towards a wedding. Make sure the wicked person is not coming to your wedding, right? They can't stop your ship from sailing. And again, travel is on the cards, darling dears. You've moved on from that situation. You've got the butterfly. Butterflies speak about freedom, darling dears. New beginnings. You've already evolved, darling dears, so you can't go back to situations that no longer suit you. But pay attention. Some of them can slip under the radar and tell no one nothing. On that note, I drops me mic. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. Toddle over to my Teesprings, pick up some of the channel merch. Go to my Patreon where I upload my extended videos. If you'd like a personal read, please hit me up in the Gmail at frequencyphoenix555@gmail.com. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these messages or massages with whomsoever you feel needs it. Until we meet again on these tarot streets, big cat wave.